Hey guys, today I want to talk about the best preset for Siege offense or Wargame Battle offense team that you can keep using over and over again. I think this content is fun when you prepare yourself for it so that you can go into the battle knowing that you have strong team to use, spend less time building and more time winning. So let's start off with the first and the best preset kind of team that you can build, the Ignore Defense Double Snipe team. So for this kind of team, you only need one good Swift set and you can push this Swift set around to any other booster and attack buffer. The one that's commonly used in Siege is going to be Praline because this guy can buff attack power and critical rate, making the requirement for auto unit follow-up is going to be easier, and he also brings a speed lead so that you can outspeed slow defense easier. The kind of defense that you want to hit with this is going to be the one that doesn't have a speed lead, so you can outspeed comfortably, and they are usually built with tankier unit. But if your rage and fatal runes are on point, you can one-shot them. The free-to-play damage dealer is going to be Kali and Taru. So Taru is very amazing because you get free crit rate from the skill. You just have to give him as much attack and crit damage possible. And we have Kali here, who's one of the most popular free-to-play one-shot unit as well. And when you use with Praline, you can reduce the crit requirement to 70%. This is one of the best team when you know you can outspeed and you can one-shot. However, there's also going to be risk involved, is that you will never know whether you can actually one-shot the enemy. So let's see if we can kill my own Asher. We could not. Let's see if we can kill the enemy Fire Bayak. We could. So the moment you can't kill, it's going to be a little bit of a problem. If you can kill, then this is going to be one of the greatest team you can build because you guarantee the win and you don't have to deal with any violent procs whatsoever because you only have to deal with one unit at the end of the day. And a lot of one-shot unit nowadays have extra utility so that you can kill the enemy easier, or maybe have a stun involved with your skill or something like that. Build one-shot team like this, but if you have better unit, it's gonna be even stronger. So the moment you can upgrade to, let's say, Covenant, I think Covenant has a much better damage output compared to Taru, but a bit higher rune requirement because Covenant doesn't have the free crit rate from the skill 3, but if you rune him well, he's gonna be doing some insane damage. And let's test out the damage on the Asher over here. Boom. And you can one-shot. And after that, it shouldn't be a problem most of the time. Of course, there'll be matches where the one surviving is going to be Theomas. And Theomas or Perna can go really crazy in certain condition. Double Snipe is gonna be a staple in your offense team. But when we start putting 5-star in the equation, the double snipe can go even stronger. So one of the most popular buffer for double snipe is going to be Adriana. You can also run it with Bastet or whatever attack buff and attack bar booster you want. Adriana doesn't buff attack bar, but she buffs speed, and that allows many speed scaling damage dealer to go crazy. The one that I really enjoy using is going to be this duo right here, Sonia, for some amazing damage output, and she's not too difficult to build because she doesn't need crit damage. You just have to have high speed, high attack, max crit, and you're good to go. The secondary one-shotter is going to be Water Siri. The moment you buff her with attack and speed, she just destroy anything, any element whatsoever. And her passive allow her to attack without needing crit rate because you crit all the time. The moment you are faster. If I can build like 5 of the same team, I would do it in a heartbeat because it is so freaking good. So let's one-shot the fire guy. Very simple. Let's one-shot the light guy. And then you're done. And after you are done, it is very hard to kill these 2 damage dealer in particular because you can't really crit this one easily. And when you hit Sonia, you can also have a chance to glance. And Adriana can heal and Oblivion. It is so good, so safe, really amazing. Have to build. A lot of people also run their secondary 5-star one-shot team that look like this. But Bastet has lower base speed, so it's a bit harder to allow it to outspeed certain defense with speed lead. But in the low rank where you can one-shot more things, this is gonna be another great duo as well. You can replace this with Kali, with any other one-shot unit that you can, or with the Fire Cassandra, or what do you call that thing? You can replace the Fire Battle Angel with her as well because she's scaled with number of buff. So have Will Shield on your Bastet or Shield set somewhere and use her or Fire Battle Angel together with Odin. it can one-shot many things. Another unit I stopped using recently is going to be Bethany, because in G3, it is very hard to be able to one-shot people. So I mainly use Sonia and Water Series 1s, and that's about it. But I think in the lower rank, you can just one-shot pretty much anything. If you have good Swift rune because you farm giants all day, then you can also use Bethany with your Kali, your Covenant, your Taru, and your Odin. And that will cover the attack buff, double ignore defense, one of the best way to do siege because no violent proc involved, is only rune check. If you have good runes, you should use it to one-shot everything. The second kind of team is going to be the Cleave team. So Galleon Tiana is still one of the most popular siege cleave in existence, but when you go to YouTube and watch high-level player do siege, you rarely see this team. It is mainly because of Galleon. If you miss one or two defense break, the top rank defense can actually survive and destroy you. Or if your damage dealer, for example Zyros or Poseidon, fail to push back or reset on an enemy target, the enemy defense might also survive and destroy you. Even though the win rate might be around 80-85%, the high tier siege actually kind of ban this offense in most top guild because of how unreliable it is when they need them to win. But in my opinion, if you win 80% of the time, I think it's not that bad. For you guys, not for me, okay? Please don't kick me. So you land your defense break and your attack buff. There are so many, as I see, there's so many damage dealer available for this kind of offense like Poseidon, Zyros, Alicia, Pengbeck. A lot of people are choosing AoE damage dealer that have extra utility. For example, Changpeng can push back attack bar, and that makes it a little bit safer because even though you're not killing them instantly, Tiana actually provides very good damage with her skill 2. So if you have a damage dealer that can push back attack bar like Changpeng, for example, then Tiana can be the one to follow up and do the massive damage on the enemy. And also, if they manage to survive, the increased cooldown from Changpeng can really help you finish off the enemy. Can I dismount that? And we're gonna take one hit. Oh my god, that is one big ass hit right there. And we're gonna finish off with another Changpeng skill 3. If you have Galleon Tiana, definitely find what kind of AoE damage deal you can put in, preferably with some extra utility like Changpeng pushback, Zyros reset, Poseidon pushback, Alicia freeze, so that your cleave can be more consistent. But a lot of players might not have Tiana. You might have Galleon, you might have the damage dealer, but you don't have Tiana. Then the Wind Robo, the Fire Robo, the Dark Robo is going to be your best friend. I am reusing the rune set from my double ignore defense Snipe team because in Siege, it is very important to know which rune set to reuse and which one you have to build new. And the Swift set, the top Swift you're using, very important. If you get an accuracy rune on Swift, then you're gonna make your Swift set even more reusable, recyclable. I put that on my Robo, or you can also use unit like the Water Ninetail Fox. This is the budget Tiana because she can boost attack bar and she can strip as well because she can increase attack bar of allies without harmful effect to be removed by 15%. And if you outspeed with Soha, then you can also get the attack bar boost in turn 1 very easily. And in recent development, they also buffed or created a new AoE strip that is very similar to the Robo with strip, slow debuff, and attack bar absorption. So if you tune your damage dealer well to the Galleon to the speed of the stripper, then you can also move and then you can have a free AoE strip into slow debuff. Let's say we go with Robo. You're gonna strip and get some of the attack bar. You also have a stun in the Robo, which is amazing because now it's gonna be less risky for your offense team. Especially if you know that they are off-wheel, then the ship is gonna become even more reliable. As you can see, we are missing defense break here and there with Galleon, which is bound to happen. And also Robo is quite a good AoE damage dealer. We're gonna provide even more debuff with Changpeng, and then you can cleave the enemy without Tiana. Tiana is definitely going to be the best strip because she cannot be resisted, but that doesn't mean if you don't have Tiana, it should stop you from doing the same team. You just have to find a good replacement for the role that she's doing. All right, let's check out if Cicero can actually replace Robo. We're going to replace the Chunk Punk with a different damage dealer as well, going to be Charlotte, because Charlotte can also provide attack by manipulation, make the cleave a bit easier. All right, let's go for the strip. We got the strip, we got some slow, but as you can see, the attack bar didn't happen because we didn't slow the enemy Laura. So that could have been a loss if Laura decided to buff and maybe violent proc and do many things. And holy shit, I'm not even that slow, but then the Laura could actually outspeed me. And that Laura is on a violent build. That is kind of crazy. Oh, here we go. That doesn't look good. If I use like a conventional damage dealer like a Zyros, I'm not sure if I would win right there because I would have no control on the enemy team. But because we're using a CC unit, so I would call this maybe a CC Cleave, then it's a little bit safer. But maybe a Zyros or a Punk Back could do it. But then if I were to use a Zyros or Punk Back on the damage build that could be slower, then I would be using a Tiana for that, or a Robo for that, or a Water Ninetale for that. For 4-star defense, I noticed that a lot of people run their things on all violent. So if you watch your friend's replay to realize that, oh, the enemy Asher is on violent, so my Swift Bernard is going to outspeed very easily. And Bernard boosts a lot of attack bar and attack speed at the same time, and that can allow this Julie, even though not very fast, catch up with the Bernard and do damage. And with Galleon buff and Julie skill 3 that deal more damage even when enemy have beneficial effect, you can actually cleave them even if they have full will, if your Julie is very, very well runed. So let's check it out to see if I can actually kill the enemy team right here with my Julie with high additional damage by attack. Okay, lucky violent procs right there. So that thing's gonna die. Julie going in. Julie is insane. Okay, even when they have freaking Will Rune that in theory you can't cleave Galleon, Julie can still do it for you. I have some spare banana, some Julie. In the older meta, you can actually do this, but nowadays it's a bit hard because Dark Series Asher are everywhere. There are two kind of Lushen team. The first one being the slow Lushen. So you definitely need a speed lead that is on fight rune. So Miyang is going to be a very popular option. But whatever speed lead you like to use, you use that. You need a booster that give the Lushen the turn and the attack buff. So Tion is going to be very popular. Then the 4-star Rakuni, the light one, that is the pay-to-win version because it has higher base speed, is going to be another option for the boost and the attack buff. And you pick a team that you can Lushen. Pretty much the team that will not outspeed your bird and will not survive to a Lushen. Like maybe this one. I'm not sure if it's gonna survive, but let's find out. Oh shit. So it's a bit harder to do this nowadays when Byung-chun is pretty much free to play, but you can still kill that. And then we're gonna heal a little bit. And we hope that we don't die. Ouch. Holy shit. Ouch. We're gonna heal block. We're gonna boost the Lushen. And we're gonna kill the Byung. So this is gonna be one of the Cleave team as well. But ignore defense instead of relying on Galleon. And that's why every defense nowadays is built with Lushen in its mind. If you're Lushenable, you're shit. But then once again, you can find many Lushenable defense in the lower rank. And once again, I am reusing my Swift set once again. One good Swift set can carry you so far in high rank Siege because you can keep reusing it in many different comps, and not just on the same unit, on many different units as well. Can I Lushen this one? Oh my god, Shield Rune, I'm fucked. Yep. Very hard to Lushen nowadays in high rank, and I can't really find an example to show you guys that you can Lushen in high rank, but I believe you can Lushen for sure. Another way that you can Lushen is you have this kind of team right here. The best Swift will go to Kabila, and then you need this guy to be like plus 170, and then you need your Lushen to be plus 120. So it's gonna be lower damage kind of Lushen, but you don't have to rely on a stupid Tion with shitty base speed to outspeed the enemy. But then your damage is going to be lower. So if you're using this variation, you need 3 pretty good Swift set, or at least the speed lead will need a very good triple fight build, still very fast to provide the Lushen with the damage that he needs. And that is where we conclude the Snipe team and the Cleave team. Now we're moving on to the Cheese team. The most popular Cheese team since the dinosaur age is going to be Camilla and Belial. Still very, very reliable in high rank. Belial on a violent build, attack with damage and attack. You can put it on Destroy. You don't have to, but Destroy is gonna make you wear down a Byung-chun a bit easier. So you can run Vile Destroy on Belial, full damage, and you run crit damage on your Belial, and his job is to die turn 1, so you don't have to worry about HP or defense. Just trying to stack as much crit rate, crit damage, attack as possible, and trying to put in attack flat and take away HP if you can, and that's how you build the dummiest thick damage Belial. On the other hand, opposite side of the table, we have Camilla on a Vile Destroy or Vile Nemesis or whatever you want to build her with, but make sure she's fast and she is tanky. She's not here to do damage. She's not here to freeze the enemy. She's here to survive for as long as possible. So you run Vile Destroy or Vile Nemesis, and you run reduction from the element you are fighting. You run recovery in your artifact so that she can just be here for as long as you need. For the third slot, there's so many options. As long as the option help your team to survive, that is going to be the option. So for me, I like to throw in something that doesn't really interfere with any of the other team that I want to play with. That's going to be the free-to-play Camilla called Rina. She can heal, she can cleanse, and she can take a lot of hit as well. And she can buy time for the Belial to come back. Oh wait, you can't use Belial against Nana. Like, this is the kind of team that when you look at an enemy defense and you're like, oh no, I don't know what to do. Oh wait, I have this team. You just put it in and somehow it's gonna win for most of the time. There'll be some cases where if enemy has a hard counter unit to Camilla that maybe doesn't crit or do raw HP damage, then you don't want to put Camilla in there. But the moment there is a Byung-chun that will crit your Camilla all the time and cleanse your Camilla, then you can definitely put it in. And also, whatever LD unit over there can potentially crit your Camilla as well. And Camilla is gonna be there and tank forever. And now you just have to wait. You can also put your Rina on Vile, but I don't really want to waste rune like that, so I put her on whatever. And you just wait for your Belial to come back, one-shot them one by one. Preferably, you one-shot the things that might kill your Camilla. For example, in this situation, the one that give the Camilla the most threat is going to be the Nephthys because she doesn't crit that much and she defense break. So, you kill that. And then you hit auto and pretty much just sit back, relax, sip tea, go take a shit, go cook your wife dinner, lunch, whatever, come back, and you're probably gonna see the victory screen, okay? In my guild, there's a guy with 3 of this team, and he always get 11 win because he doesn't even put a third unit in there. He just put Camilla, Belial, Camilla, Belial, Camilla, Belial, and he get 3 win out of 6 units. And he always get 11 wins to flex on the rest of the guild because he has so many Camilla, Belial. So if you have this duo, congratulations. You get a brain dead free win in Siege. That works wonderful. Build this team and you never have to look back. Another brain dead team is going to be Bolverk, Amelia, and Windy. So Bolverk, Amelia is very good together because Amelia can provide a lot of buff and protection, and Bolverk can provide heal and damage and a beautiful leader skill. In the past, you will see a lot of Molong here, but the defenses nowadays are very good at dealing with the Molong variation because they are packed with so much damage, especially the Water Evo that can focus down the Molong with defense break, and Molong die very, very fast. But if you add a Windy right there, then the Windy can provide some shield for the team, more buff for the Bolverk, and it will make the fight a bit longer, but then it's gonna be safer. So you want your team to be very tanky, high in resistance, and that is all you freaking need. The fight is gonna be a little bit long. And I know, you don't like long fight, but it is how it is. We're gonna focus down on the enemy Sylvia, for example. You wanna identify the threat of the enemy and focus your Bolverk damage on that one. So we can cleanse that, we can buff the team, and then we can do the Bolverk thing once again. And that's why Bolverk is very highly sought after for high rank Siege player, or just Siege player in general, because you can pretty much get a win with Bolverk very, very easily. And when you run out of Amelia, you can replace Amelia with, for example, Lulu, who is not exactly better, but that is another option for you to pair with Bolverk to provide the heal and the cleanse that you need. As long as you're very, very tanky, then your Bolverk is going to do most of the damage and the healing. Meanwhile, the other unit that you're bringing into the team with Bulwark is just going to be there to make sure Bulwark doesn't die and provide Bulwark with more buff. It's not going to be flashy, it's not going to be fun, but it's definitely going to win for you. And it's going to definitely take a while. So your Windy, you don't have to put it on Vi or anything. You just make sure it's going to be tanky. And I think that is more than enough for most people out there. All right, I'm going to do that. And I put my Windy on Destroy because in this kind of fight, it's going to be a long fight. So having a unit on Destroy, it is always going to be a great thing. As you can see, the fire threat is always attacking Windy, and Bulwark is going to do Bulwark thing, and you bring down the enemy one by one. Very simple, but super effective. And this is the kind of team that when you see enemies going with a weird bruiser option, but they don't have like a single hard-hitting unit like Odin, for example, that can one-shot your Bulwark, you throw it in, and you're going to have a good day. So here we go. A lot of Clara team is very weak against this because the horse is going to have extra buff and you're using 2 warrior unit. And Clara is one of the most popular unit out there for defense. And you just bring it in. You survive the first turn and you start going crazy on the enemy team. I'm going to slow this thing down. I'm going to work on the Kiki because Kiki defense break. Find out. I think the skill of identifying the threat of the enemy team is also very important because it makes your attack higher win rate in general, especially when you know who to target to make sure that if that unit die, you can pretty much auto. Always think like that. If that one thing just die, I can auto. Then you have identified the right target. So we kill the Kiki, and after that, Clara will always try to defense break Windy, which will never happen. And Byung-chun is always going to try and target Bulwark or Amelia, which will always survive. And that's pretty much it. It is a very, very good and safe offense. Next up is going to be the Fangin Alaya or Fangin Amelia if you have an extra Amelia, or Fangin with any healer and defense buffer. And Fangin is going to be the main damage dealer. You can build Fangin with either 0 resistance or max resistance, depending on which school of belief you decide to go for. Right now, I'm trying a max res build, but I think in high rank, it doesn't really matter. I might switch back to a higher HP build so you don't die instantly in the first turn. And then you have a healer like Alaya or Amelia. Or if you don't have any Nat 5 healer, Lulu is always there to be the better option. And then you put in Alaya or Amelia or Ariel or Wusa or whatever water healer support that you can. If you don't have any of that, Tetra is going to be an amazing option, or Lulu is going to be an amazing option as well. And for the last unit, you will decide what you want to bring in against the enemy defense that will counter the enemy defense. For example, here we are fighting a Savannah. Then maybe a Leo is going to be very good for you because you are fighting a Savannah. Leo will prevent the enemy team from losing attack bar from the Savannah pushback and also nerf the Savannah damage. And overall, this is one of the best offense that you can build to get another free win for your siege. And if you decide to use Leo for this offense all the time, you can actually build your other 2 unit, the Fangin and Alaya, with 0 speed together with the Leo who also have 0 speed, and your team will be extremely tanky and do a massive amount of damage. But if you decide to use this Fangin Alaya combo with other unit and not just Leo, then you can build them with a bit more speed. But let's say you have another dupe Fangin and Alaya, then you can definitely build them with 0 speed and just make sure they are so tanky with your Leo team. And this is another team that you shut off your brain. Whatever bruiser comp they are using, you don't give 2 shit because your entire team is so tanky and do insane amount of damage. But if you decide to use it with a normal unit that is not Leo, then maybe having some speed is going to be important because you don't want to be too slow compared to the enemy team. So let's say we are fighting another Clara thing here. Any water support is going to be very, very popular because it countered Clara in the siege defense meta. And you're gonna buff your team. You're gonna buff your team even further. And you can pretty much most of the time hit auto. In the past, it will be Velaju in this slot, but I think Velaju doesn't counter anything in particular, so I don't really use Velaju in this too often. In the past, it will be Velaju, Fangin, and Alaya. But then, you are kind of weak against CC if they actually stun you. So I would say, bring a unit that counter the enemy, like I'm fighting LD, so I'm using a light tank for the dark damage dealer. If you want to put in a unit that help you against enemy stun, then you could put in a Josephine, for example, or a Juno, if enemy is using a lot of buff. So use this team, but don't rely too much on the Velaju third pick, but actually pick something that counter the enemy, and that's gonna boost this team win rate to even further from you. Velaju is great for, brain dead general purposes, but picking the right counter play would brings you very far in terms of winning consistently in Siege. What about Leo? I think Leo is insane because there are so many teams you can build with Leo. It is almost an endless conversation. What kind of funny shit you can do with Leo? But ultimately, you want whatever you're using with Leo to have low speed. And the build for Siege, I think usually it's going to be a very tanky build so your Leo don't die. It is very important for your Leo to always survive in the battlefield. And I see Helena is one of the best options to pair with Leo because she's tanky, defense break, a lot of damage, gain attack power on her own, and heal herself. And whatever healer you're bringing with Leo should have no speed if you can, and also have a cleansing ability. So I think a lot of people are using Tetra because she can tank the enemy win unit. If she get defense broken, she can heal cleanse very effectively. So that's going to be a very popular option for the Leo offense team because there's always gonna be like that one win damage deal on the enemy team. So Tetra is going to be the dedicated healer for that particular regards. And whatever damage deal you're bringing in should be a tanky bruiser that counter the enemy. The more free-to-play option for whatever I'm using in front of you right now is going to be Tessarion in the Helena spot. Tessarion can provide the resistant lead for Leo to get max res if you want to get max res with Leo. Then Tessarion also counter a lot of different passive on the enemy team. Tessarion is also very tanky and do a lot of damage. And you can build your Tetra with even less resistance so that you can get max res with the Tessarion resistant leader skill. But I like Helena because there's not a lot of place to use Helena. So whenever I can use her, it is quite fun because she do so much damage and she defense break and she's so fucking tanky that using her is great, yeah? You can definitely run Tessarion because let's say I'm fighting a Byung-chon or a Kinky, a Kiki, then Tessarion's gonna be an incredible option. So there are many Leo offenses out there. Just make sure that you follow the different guideline for Leo team building that I just mentioned. For 4-star tower, I think it's very hard to give you guys a brain dead preset because the meta change so frequently and the meta always evolve to beat the most popular preset out there. But what I like using is going to be this one. So this one can beat a lot of different things because it's tanky. It doesn't rely on defense break or whatever. It just rely on your rune quality. So for this one, we're using Commune, Tetra, and Malite. Malite is gonna be on a faster build. You can run Swift, you can run whatever you want to run, but I like it to be fast because when you're fast, you can lap the enemy when you provoke, and they cannot lap you and kill you while you are trying to stay alive. And then you have a Tetra to provide heal and cleanse for the team. Preferably tanky, fast, max res, all that very common healer stuff. And we have a Commune to provide a shield and a speed lead and to help the team to stay alive as well. In general, this team is just stay alive, trying to provoke, and that's pretty much it. But I don't like using the light Skydancer? The light String Master and very slow build because nowadays, everyone is so fast, their Valorant is so good, they take so many turns before you take a turn. So that kind of very slow provoke team is not exactly amazing because enemies moving so often that they kill you regardless of how tanky you are. And everyone in high rank has insane accuracy in whatever they put on their defense. So your max res, slow build just doesn't really make a difference anymore. You want to be fast as well, and the Commune speed lead can help with that. And I also build my boy to be a bit tankier so that he doesn't die too easily. And even then, this guy is absolutely smashing me with his damage, and despite him having 0 healing on the team, he is not having any problem. But the problem, I can bring down one of the dark unit, especially the one with defense break. I think I should win. And I'm putting Seal Rune on some of your tanky units gonna be very helpful as well because the biggest advantage that defense have, I think, is their Violent proc. And when they can't do that, you should win a bit easier. So I like this team a lot. If I could just only use this against a lot of speedy defense out there and just provoke them to no ends. But I think you can only use this team when there is no healer on the enemy team. If there's a healer, then I don't think the Malite provoke and reflect is gonna kill the enemy fast enough compared to a different kind of approach with higher damage output. This one is for the team that doesn't have the healing or strong healing involved. I think you can kill Miyang Shikler with this though. And the last team that I want you guys to build is not a preset team, but learn how to build a proper team instead of relying on preset team all the damn time. And I would call this the dedicated tank and 2 other element team. That is so fucking long. I would call this the 2-1 strategy. Let me explain. So when you're going with a team like this, we have Kamoon as a dedicated tank for the Water Evo. But even after the Water Evo defense break, Tyrannus will not immediately go for a fire unit. So Kamoon will be fairly safe. And the other 2 unit is going to control the fire Bayak. In that case, even if I get defense broken, it's not gonna be very, very terrible. So we're gonna strip that. We're gonna fully control that just for demonstration. So we control that unit. Evo is going to attack the fire unit. Okay, we are proccing a hell lot. And this guy is still gonna go for the water unit because of the law of the element. So if you learn the law of the element properly, you can avoid getting absolutely shit on and build a better team for your guild offense. And we're gonna maybe control this guy. We could not control this guy. I'm gonna finish him. He's gonna get revived anyway. Doesn't really matter to me. And this is a very, very good preset as well, but I don't think it's gonna be that spammable anymore. But Kamoon, Lord, and Lucia is still one of the strongest team that you can build for just general siege purposes. All right, I'm gonna freeze that guy and use the opportunity to kill Tyrannus because he's very low in health. And he's gone. So we're gonna go back to kill the enemy Fire Bayak. We're gonna control this thing once again. As long as you can control the enemy defense break properly, then you can definitely destroy that defense without worrying about whether it's gonna proc on you. Because even if this unit proc and your commune has minus water and enough HP, it doesn't matter if this defense breaker is gonna proc like crazy, it will not win you if the follow-up is not gonna go crazy. And the follow-up is gonna be the win unit that's gonna hit the water tank right here. Another very popular way for people to build defenses is they have an LD defense breaker like Nasha, Tianlang, or whatever, so that you cannot tank it with elemental unit, which are the main source of unit for free-to-play player. You have to rely on LD tank. So for this example, we have a light damage dealer and defense breaker. We want to tank that with a dark unit. And the best dark tank is going to be the free-to-play 4-star horror hero unit that a lot of you guys already have. That is going to be Diaz. So while Diaz tank the defense break from the light unit, the fire unit will follow up after the defense break as well. What you want to do is you want to put in 2 water unit so that the fire damage dealer follow-up will not attack your water unit at all. So you end up with a thing like this. So the water unit is going to provide healing, doesn't get attacked by the fire damage follow-up, and this water unit can potentially cut in between and disturb the enemy turn. If you don't have this unit, then a Theomas is gonna be your friend. Water Vampire is gonna be great as well. But make sure your damage dealer is going to be the opposite element of the enemy damage dealer. That is one of the most important things to pay attention to when you build a siege offense team. Make sure your squishy unit is the opposite element of the enemy damage dealer. Anyway guys, that's all I have for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and let me know what kind of other amazing team you have in your mind when you watch this and I didn't mention. That'll be much appreciated. Maybe I make a follow-up video of your suggestion because you know your meta the best. I don't know every meta that exists in every single rank possible. G3 Siege and G1 Siege is entirely different. So you let me know what you use in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. And that is where we conclude the Snipe